Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Sunday, part 2 of our conversation with Governor Charlie Baker. Governor, welcome. Good to have you with us, as always.
Good to be here.
You've been on the job now as governor coming up on 8 years. The last year and a half or so has been one of the most stressful times for elected officials at all levels in our country. Are you burned out?
Actually, I have been incredibly blessed to be governor of a state with people who really tried all the way through the pandemic to do the right thing. And I've constantly been amazed by the kindness and the generosity and the resilience that the people of Massachusetts have shown. If anything, it's affirmed for me what I always believed about the people of this Commonwealth. And I'm very excited. You and I talked a little bit about this last week. I'm very excited about this opportunity to put the $5 billion plus that we've received in federal money to work to do some very transformational, important things around infrastructure, around housing, around job creation and economic development, and to make real the opportunities that are associated coming out of this pandemic with what we can do to build back a stronger, better Commonwealth.
Well, you know, everybody knows you're mulling over your decision about whether or not to seek a third term next year. And while you really should be using this opportunity to disclose your decision, I'm not going to press you on that. I know you haven't made up your mind yet. But in those moments where you think about a third term, you've just mentioned a couple, I know, but what would your overriding goals be in a third term?
I think certainly the housing crisis would have to be right near the top of the list. I mean, I've talked about this with you for the first 7 years we've been here. We managed to get some statutory changes that make it easier to build housing in Massachusetts. We have tremendous resources available to us to put a lot of housing in place. But, you know, you talk to anybody about who's a working person about what the hardest and most difficult part about living in the Commonwealth is, and almost all of them will talk about how expensive it is to live here. And the average price of a house in Massachusetts is now around $500,000. Rentals, in many cases, for one bedrooms are somewhere in the vicinity of $1,500 to $2,000 in many parts of Massachusetts. This is in some ways an existential challenge for us. If we can't figure out a way to make it possible for what I would describe as regular people to be able to live comfortably here and have, you know, the proverbial monthly nut that's associated with either their rent or their mortgage at a rate that's reasonably consistent with what they would pay in other parts of the country, we're going to drive a lot of what our next generation is all about out of here. I happen to think that's probably that should be and would be our highest priority.
Well, I think it's pretty clear, I'm sure you'll tell me if you disagree, that Chapter 40B, the longtime state law that pushes suburban communities to include a percentage of affordable housing in the new development that goes on there, it hasn't gotten the job done. That's not the only reason why we have an affordable housing crunch, but it's been cited by experts as a key reason. Do you believe it's time to toughen up 40B and sort of break out the horsewhip a little bit to these communities that have been dragging their feet?
Well, keep in mind that, you know, one of the statutory changes that we got done after 4 years of work on it was to move away from a 2/3 requirement at the local level to approve a housing project. And if you look at Massachusetts, you know, we have a lot of communities with 11-member city councils. If you got a 6-5 positive vote on a project, it failed. If you got a 7-4 vote, it failed. You had to get 8-3. And on a 5-member select board, which I served on, you had to get 4-1 to actually get a project approved. So 40B in some respects was an attempt to create a mechanism to deal with to sort of as a workaround for the fundamental underlying problem here, which was for years and years in Massachusetts, projects would get an affirmative majority vote and fail. You know what that does to the interest in both developers and builders and others to even pursue projects? I happen to think that change has the potential to have more of an impact than almost anything else. And I say that as somebody who has been a 40B supporter for all the reasons that we've had it in the first place.